A 4-year-old Oklahoma City boy is still recovering from the second-degree burns he received January 11th in a house fire. Stephen Belcher is in the Shriners Burn Center in Galveston, Texas. The child was apparently playing with gasoline in the garage of his home when those fumes were ignited by the heater system. The boy's mother suffered second and third-degree burns while rescuing the child, but her injuries were not extensive. Stephen Belcher is now listed in fair condition. He was originally on the critical list.
Already this year, 27 people in Oklahoma City have been injured in fires. 2 others have died. The fire department believes that most fires and resulting injuries can be prevented. And 5 Alive's Kathy Davison tells us how.
The number one cause of fires in Oklahoma City is twofold. Number one being discarded smoking materials, whether it be in a residence or discarded outside to cause a grass fire. And then 2, electrical shorts, problems with extension cords, overloading electrical outlets, things of that nature.
The fire department says take a few extra minutes at night to be certain all cigarettes are extinguished and avoid smoking in bed. Secondly, don't have too many cords plugged in at once. That can cause a short. Keep cords on top of rugs and carpets, not underneath. If you have to store flammable liquid, keep it out of the house. And finally, if you have a smoke detector, inspect it periodically to see that the battery works. Fire officials say burn injuries are traumatic and their effects can last a lifetime. That's why a little common sense can go an awfully long way. Kathy Davison, 5 Alive News.
Fire department officials have ruled out arson in last night's blaze at a downtown Cushing hardware store, but the cause of the fire that burned for more than 4 hours is still unknown. The David Bean Pro Hardware store in Cushing went up in flames shortly before 6 o'clock last night. Some 50 firefighters from Cushing and surrounding towns battled the blaze, which destroyed the store. Their efforts were hampered by exploding paint cans and propane tanks, along with a collapsed ceiling, but there were no injuries. The structural damage has been estimated at $500,000.
The family of slain Oklahoma City police officer Gary Ward will be able to depend on a pension starting at the end of this month. In a split decision, the Oklahoma Police Pension and Retirement Board approved the survivor's pension, even though Ward was working as an off-duty security guard at the time of his death. 5 Alive's Ramona Russ has a report.
The main issue in the Ward case borders on a gray line, a line all police officers walk when they work as off-duty security guards. When Detective Gary Ward was gunned down last month at the Holiday Inn Northwest, he had been a police officer for 14.5 years. If he had 15 years of service, his family would have been eligible for pension benefits, whether or not he died in the line of duty. But he was killed by a burglary suspect while working off-duty in uniform as a security guard. The question before the board today, was Ward acting as a police officer at the time he died?
He was, at that time, that instant, that flash of the gun barrel, he was a policeman.
For the Ward family, the board's favorable decision means a pension and security, 50% of 20-year retirement pay. For the families of other officers, this case may not mean a thing. Board members say each case is still different.
This is not a test case or a landmark. Each application will be based upon its own merits.
While today's decision gives the Ward family the financial support it needs, it will not give the families of other police officers who work off-duty as security guards any added sense of security. Ramona Russ, 5 Alive News.
Still to come on 5 Alive News at 6 o'clock. Did you vote today? If you didn't, you have about 1 hour left.
And there's a battle for the baby business in the Oklahoma City area. We'll explain in a little over a minute. Stay with us.
Even the little things are important at Pit Stop USA, like lubing belts, door and hood hinges, and replenishing brake, automatic transmission, and power steering fluids. Pit Stop USA even replenishes oil your engine uses between services at no charge. Turn in at Pit Stop USA tomorrow for the quality, dependable service you deserve. Check page 169 of your Yellow Pages for the pit stop nearest you.
In a little less than an hour, the polls will close on 6 mayoral and nearly a dozen city council races around the metro area.
The hottest race appears to be going on in Edmond. 5 Alive's Terry Watkins is standing by live at one of the polling places there. Terry?
Well, Jack, up here in Edmond, the battle is over the mayor's seat. It's against incumbent Carl Rearman and his challengers, Yvonne Nichols and John Ing. Though most of the day the voter turnout has been what the election board is terming light, expenditures have not been an issue up here. The endorsements have. The Fraternal Order of Police and the Edmond firefighters have endorsed Nichols. But Edmond isn't the only election. Ward 1 in Oklahoma City has drawn 2 candidates. Ward 3 has drawn 2 candidates. While in Ward 4 and Ward 7, incumbent Gory James faces 3 challengers. The mayor's race in Tacoma Park is on the ballot, as well as Ward 1 and Ward 3 council seats. In Del City, residents are electing a mayor and will fill 2 city council seats. In Bethany, only 1 mayor's race is at stake, and voters in War Acres will also decide on their mayor's race. Out here, the voter turnout is still what, again, the election board is calling very light. We'll, of course, be monitoring the election returns all evening. We'll bring you live reports at 10 o'clock. Jack and Jerry?
Terry, any reason for that light voter turnout?
City council elections, like school bond elections, are notorious very light voter turnout issues. Up here in Edmond, they've calculated about 1% of the vote, of the registered voters up here, and they've clocked about as many people as they did in the first hour of the presidential race, and that's actually pretty good for this type of election.
Okay. Thank you, Terry, and we'll be watching votes tonight. Say, how many of us would do part of our lives over again if given the chance? Well, that was one question on a recently completed survey by the Oklahoma Education Association. Teachers were asked if they had the means to leave the teaching profession, would they do so? The 44,000 members of the OEA were asked why they entered the profession, how much time they spend preparing for classes, all in an effort to find out how teacher morale can be improved.
How is the vowel sounded?
This is more of an attitude survey for us to find out some of our members' attitudes and hopefully relay those to the public, to the legislators, the business community, to let them know that there are concerns out there and which ones are strong and which ones aren't strongly felt by our members.
Many teachers have left our state for more lucrative contracts in states such as Texas. Next week, results of this survey will give legislators an idea, according to Davis, of what needs to be done to keep teachers here.
There are a lot of teachers who think the legislature hasn't done very well in the area of keeping teachers happy.
That's because of the problem of finding money for higher teachers' salaries.
And joining us live tonight is the President Pro Tem of the State Senate, Roger Randall. Senator Randall, what can teachers reasonably expect in the way of a pay hike this year?
Well, I think without question we're going to pass an increase at least on the order of what the governor's proposed. That would be about $1,000. That's a small increase, but at least it will reverse the direction we've been on in Oklahoma of declining school appropriations.
Senator, where will the money exactly come from for that increase you speak of?
Well, the governor has proposed making the penny sales tax permanent. That's going to be the chief pressure that we'll have on us as a place to look for additional dollars. If we make the 5% increase for teachers this year, given the fact that there's been no state-funded increase last year or the year before, if you factor in inflation, we're still talking about a 3-year period in which you've had a net decrease of 10% in purchasing power.
Senator, let's say we keep seeing teachers go to other states for jobs rather than staying here. Will that produce a crisis in education, in your view?
I think clearly it can. We've got to have quality people in the classroom. The classroom is where education occurs. Money is part of the answer. We've got to stay competitive there. But I think we've also got to get the professionalism and the respect that teachers receive up. That's also part of the answer, not just money.
Senator Randall, thank you for joining us this evening. Coming up on 5 Alive News at 6, the saying goes, when it rains, it pours.
And Wayne's wet forecast is still to come.
Hey folks, at Lawrence Photo and Video, we can now transfer your old Super 8 or Regular 8 home movies to videotape so you can see yourself on TV. It's a great gift for mom, dad, or the family. Call Lawrence Photo for details.
Well, I guess we'll all be singing in the rain tonight, huh?
We certainly will. I guess that's the best way to handle it. We do have some rain coming our way. Some of it might be a bit on the heavy side. Because of that, the National Weather Service has issued a flash flood watch for a good portion of Oklahoma, including Oklahoma City. And the rain has already started in parts of the state. We'll show you where in just a moment. But right now in Oklahoma City, we have cloudy skies and 63 degrees. Our winds are out of the southeast at 17 miles per hour. The relative humidity is 60%. Our barometric pressure is 2989 and falling. Here's our late afternoon satellite picture. Cloudiness continues to push in from the southwest, continuing to cover more and more of Oklahoma, and under some of this cloud cover we are getting rain, and it's getting closer and closer to Oklahoma City. Here it is on the National Weather Service radar. Look at this. Much of south central and southwestern Oklahoma getting rain now. It is moving northeastward at about 30 miles per hour. There is nothing heavy in this rain, but the system that is causing this, producing this, is still a long ways away from us, and in its movement towards us, we will get rain off and on for tonight and much of tomorrow, and we could get some heavy rain amounts, up to and maybe over 2 inches of rain in the southern one half of the state. Because of that, a flash flood watch has been issued. Now, I want to show you our early morning lows across Oklahoma, quite mild, mostly 40s. Oklahoma City had 45 for an early morning low. And our temperatures late this evening or late this afternoon were in the 50s and the 60s all over the state. The winds remain out of the south, quite brisk, 15 to 25 miles per hour, even gusts of up to and just over 30 miles per hour in some of the western counties earlier this afternoon. Here's our satellite picture across the entire country. The southeast continued to get lots of sunshine today because high pressure just off the South Carolina coast. But look at this big area of cloudiness approaching us. This is the storm system that is producing most of the precipitation in the country, and that's where we're getting our storminess from. Now, you see from the surface systems, we do have a stationary front situated just in the northwestern sections of Oklahoma, but what is really producing this storminess and cloud cover is an upper level storm here that is moving in from the west, and it'll take another 24 hours for it to move east of us and to cut off the moisture flow, and we will see a very rainy next 24 hours. Our precipitation across the country, by and large, the biggest area of precipitation is under this cloud cover, stretching from Oklahoma, North Texas, back into the central and southern Rockies, where they are getting a little bit of snow in the higher elevations. Also rain in the Pacific Northwest, eastern North Dakota, and rain and snow in western New York and north central sections of Pennsylvania. Now, for tomorrow, that rain shield will include Oklahoma, North Texas, all the way to the central and southern Appalachians. Also a little bit of rain in North Dakota, rain and snow in western Montana and northern sections of Idaho, rain then in the Pacific Northwest coast. Now, the forecast for Oklahoma tonight. See the shaded area? This is all included in a flash flood watch for tonight. And again, that does include Oklahoma City. We'll have lows from the upper 30s to the mid-50s. Now, tomorrow, the flash flood watch will be lifted in the southwestern counties as that storm system moves eastward, but south central and southeastern counties still included in the flash flood watch. Our highs tomorrow from the upper 40s to near 60. Here's Oklahoma City's forecast. It reads for tonight, very, very wet. Rain and thunderstorms, 48 will be our low, southeasterly winds 12 to 22. Tomorrow, more rain, more thunderstorms, 55 will be our high, northeasterly winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour. And then tomorrow night, sometime tomorrow night, the rain will end. Our low tomorrow night will be 40 degrees, northerly winds 7 to 15. Then on Thursday, should be mostly sunny, 61. Partly cloudy on Friday, 64. And look at this. Next storm system comes in Thursday, or rather Saturday, thunderstorms and 66 degrees on that day.
Well, we have a few days to work about that last
I don't even want to worry about that. We just want to get through the next 24 hours. Again, nothing severe, but the amounts could be pretty heavy. We're going to watch it closely.
Okay. First we had gasoline wars, then coupon wars, and now Oklahoma City is facing a baby war. 5 Alive's Jane Braden explains that this war is the peaceful, not so dangerous type.
The baby business has been busy and even booming in Oklahoma City hospitals lately. And out of the boom is growing a new competition for expecting parents called crib clubs. Edmond Memorial Hospital promises new parents free childbirth classes, postpartum exercise classes, color portraits of baby, and hairstyling for mom, plus $200 in free gift certificates from local merchants. Mercy Health Center's Rockabye Club entices parents with a newsletter, a membership card entitling them to more gift certificates, and the usual T-shirts and information about birth and child care. The target is the North Side, where so many babies are being born.
Having a baby is something that you know about at least 8 months in advance, and so there's a little more time to decide where you want to be.
Hopefully, we would like to receive our market share of those people that would like to have their baby, enjoy their birth experience at Mercy, but at the same time, our primary focus is to educate.
This is a nice war, though, because no one really loses, and the winner gets a soft, cuddly, though sometimes fussy, prize. Jane Braden, 5 Alive News.
Meanwhile, the trend for better bonding sooner between mother and newborn is spreading. Deaconess Hospital has begun what they call their family care concept, where the baby is moved in with mom 12 hours after birth, away from the usual nursery routine. Special nurses take care of both mother and baby at the same time, making it a learning and loving experience.
Mother can learn about the care of her infant from the very first day of its life. This, we have found, makes the mother feel much more at ease with her baby when she goes home. Also, we do a lot of on-the-spot teaching.
Nurses and moms say the baby leaves the hospital in better hands because the parents have better learned how to care for the child.
Still ahead on 5 Alive News at 6, the Sooners are preparing to wreck Tech. Sports just ahead.
Physical Restorative Services Incorporated, Oklahoma's senior certified rehabilitation agency, is providing services of licensed or registered therapists in physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech-language pathology. Physical Restorative Services provides speech and language pathology for people of all ages, helping adults and especially children with communication disorders such as articulation, language, voice, and fluency. Now is the time to help your child if they have a speech or language problem.
For information, call 840-9515.
Well, I'm sure the Sooners are hoping that it will soon be a rambling wreck from Louisiana Tech, right?
Hey, that's pretty good, you know. Did you get that one the last time you were in Georgia? Is that what it was?
No, just that, Jerry.
Okay. Oklahoma Sooners and 5 Alive will head for Dallas, Texas tomorrow. Not for that annual football game with some university down there, but for a basketball game with a team from one state over. It'll be the Sooners against Louisiana Tech, with the winner in the final 8 of the NCAA basketball tournament, the loser headed for the house. For the Bulldogs, Mick Cornett reports they hope the second time is the charm.
Oklahoma shut down Louisiana Tech in the first meeting, winning 84-72. Despite an occasional dunk, it was an off night for Wayman Tisdale, and it was also an off night for Bulldog star Karl Malone.
I think he's very big. He's about 6'9", 255. No, I think he's a great player. I played against him in the Pan American trials, and I'm not sure if he was at the Olympic trials. I don't remember too much. All I remember is Coach Knight, but I remember him at the Pan American trials, and him and I guarded each other the last day of the trials, and I had 23, he had 22, so I guess it's going to be a battle from now on out.
The Sooners are favored to beat the Bulldogs again, but few expect it to be a 12-point win like last time. Tech has lost only twice this season. They don't feel like they'll wind up losing twice to Oklahoma. Mick Cornett, 5 Alive Sports.
In the USFL last night, the Houston Gamblers ran their record to 4-0 as Jim Kelly completed 32 passes for 433 yards and 4 touchdowns. Gamblers beat the Denver Gold 36-17. Kelly proved to his former offensive coordinator, Mouse Davis, now head coach at Denver, that he could run as well as pass. This play set up the first Gamblers touchdown, and that was a Kelly to Richard Johnson pass, and Houston led 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. Denver tied the score when Bill Johnson took off on this very powerful 26-yard run. That made it 7-7. 2 Tony Fritz field goals made it 13-7 Houston. Denver took the lead when Vince Evans' pass was tipped by a defender into the hands of Mark Lewis. It gave the lead to the Gold 14-13. That's how it stood at the half. Both teams got field goals in the third quarter. Then a Vince Evans fumble set Houston up on the Denver 40. Then on the first play after that, watch this one. Well, they finally got it. Jim Kelly passes to Gerald McNeil, who had outrun the Denver defense, and Houston led 23-17. 2 plays into the fourth quarter, Kelly passed 10 yards to Vince Corville. The try for 2 fell short. Houston 29-17. But then Kelly got another chance, this one to Clarence Verdon. The final was Houston 36 and Denver 17. Police in New York say former Yankee first baseman Joe Pepitone was arrested in Brooklyn and charged with possession of cocaine and a loaded gun last night. Joe played first base in the outfield for the Yankees, Astros, Cubs, and the Braves. College baseball rankings out today, and both Oklahoma and Oklahoma State are in the top 12. Miami is number 1 with Texas second, Oklahoma third, then Stanford, Mississippi State, and Arkansas. Pepperdine is 7th, and Georgia Tech, Florida, Houston, Wichita State, and Oklahoma State. Missouri is rated 17th, Nebraska is 19th. Those third-ranked Sooners put their record on the line today before the home folks in a single game with the OCU Chiefs. On the mound for the Sooners was Olympian Bobby Witt. He ran his record to 2-0 on the season with a 7-1 win. Bobby threw 8 innings, allowed only 4 hits, and struck out 11. The win, powered by Andy Frank's first home run of the year, a 3-run shot in the 5th, ran Oklahoma's record to 17-1 on the season. Finally tonight, our sports stuffer has to do with Big 8 baseball teams. Now, each of these teams that you see on your screen have won the NCAA College World Series, but 2 of them, and only 2, have played in 4 championship games. Name the 2 teams. It was either Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, or Missouri. Now, there are 2 teams involved, so you have to pick 2 out of the 3.
Okay, that well hopefully raises our odds. We'll see if we can keep our string alive.
Okay.
There's still more to come on 5 Alive News at 6, such as the story of a big-time tither. Stay with us.
Oklahoma has an abundance of natural gas, and that's one of the reasons gas is your most efficient means of heat. Now, gas doesn't power your razor or light your home, but it does heat your home and your water more efficiently than any other energy source. You can find out more about using energy wisely. Just call Oklahoma Natural Gas or your gas heating dealer. Remember, here in Oklahoma, gas is the most efficient and best way to heat. Always has been, and probably always will.
After what, 6 in a row?
I'm afraid of this one.
Let's try for 7.
Okay, our sports number question tonight was, which of the teams that you'll see on your screen have played in 4 NCAA Baseball College World Series championships games? Now, there are 2 of them, so all you got to do is get 2 out of the 3. Okay. What's your answer there, friends?
Oklahoma and Missouri.
I will guess Oklahoma State and Missouri.
Well, Jack's right, and you're close. It was Oklahoma State and Missouri. Well, I didn't get to rain all over their parade on this one, but maybe you can add a little fuel to the fire, Wayne.
There certainly is rain on the way. We are going to be very rainy for the next 24 hours. I don't see anything severe, but we could have some very heavy amounts. Because of that, a flash flood watch is in effect.
Okay, we'll check back with you. A Catholic priest in New York could be a millionaire tonight if he wanted to, but after winning $1.7 million in the state lottery, Reverend Joseph Ferroni says he'll keep only a small amount for his pension. He plans to give the rest to the church where he's associate pastor and to the parish youth group and its Ethiopian hunger drive. How about that, huh?
He's generous, isn't he?
$1.7 million. Wow.
Tough to give up. Have a nice evening.
We'll see you at 10.
This has been a presentation of 5 Alive News, recognized as the leader in Oklahoma broadcast journalism.